I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to the Curling Stadium Swift Current live coverage, the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series. This is women's action this afternoon. My name is Shawn Joyce, joined by Jim Nix for this game this afternoon. And we've got 8 qualifiers, triple knockout on the women's side. So the first 1, 2, 3 looks like 3 A qualifiers on this afternoon. So 3 playoff teams will be determined here this afternoon. We've got the matchup between Penny Barker and the Tabitha Peterson team. Tabitha not here this week. 2 teams had a practice session before the game and draw to the button for last rock advantage in the first end. It's the Barker team with that last rock throwing the yellow stones. And looks like, Jim, both teams willing to get after it right here in the first end. We've got centers and corners and come-arounds. And
yeah, it's not something we see very often in the first end.
No.
Don't see it on either men's or ladies' sides, and particularly on the ladies' side, they usually tend to be a little more patient getting at it.
I had a chance to see the Peterson team play yesterday, so I knew they were playing shorthanded. This is my first look this week at the Barker team. Looks like they might be shorthanded as well. Danielle Sasinski, the lead, with a nice come around here. They'll be fine with it back. Didn't even need to be shot. The key there is to get that rock buried. For the Peterson team, they're going to play another one around the middle. It does look like the yellow is shot at the back. Taylor Anderson Hyde is the lead. And Tara Peterson throwing second stones. She's also the vice here this week when they're playing shorthanded. Corey Tesey, normally the third, is skipping in the house. Tabitha Peterson, I understand, had a baby just a couple of weeks ago, baby girl. So congratulations to her. They were looking to come right around everything. That's going to come up just a little bit short. Continues to be Barker sitting one at the back of the 8-foot. She might want to deal with the rocks in the middle now.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit muddy in the middle there for the team with Hammer.
She's looking at it kind of looked like she was looking at the double peel in the guards. There you go. She's looking at getting the double off the one in the house. Danielle Sasinski is the lead for Penny Barker and has been for a number of years, but this is a new lineup. The 2 players through the middle, Taryn Shackdal, who appears not to be here this weekend, and Lindsay Birch throwing third. We're past the 5th rock of the end now, so they can take a chance coming by the guard, try to pick out that shot stone at the back of the 8-foot. Kind of saw the indication there. If you hit the guard, it's not the worst thing in the world. On the brush right out of her hand. They might have tight iced it a little bit. They got to make sure they make some noise here.
Not going to get by, I don't think.
Going to make a little noise on the guard. Comes over, crashes the other one. And with all those rocks getting touched out front, none of them ended up in the rings.
Yeah, I think more weight than anything there, Shawn. That she could have used a little bit more than what you threw there for sure.
Probably didn't have the weight to get it through if she gets to it, yeah. With everything staggered at the front, Penny looking to come right around here. Still got room. Got to be careful how deep they go here. You don't mind when you've got last rock going deep behind your own corner guard. You sure don't want to be deep around the center. No. Shot rock sitting on the button. It's not bad, but it's probably a hair deep.
Yeah, I think it's you're deep enough and you're curled enough that you sort of make the other person almost throw the freeze here, and you'd probably rather them not do that.
Yeah, how do you get your 2 if they make the freeze? Like, you'll still be shot rock, but they're playing it with enough weight to kill it.
Yeah.
Now, you can roll over in front of second shot too by making this. It's just you have to flirt with that guard a little bit. By the front one. Makes the hit. She'll roll towards that Yellowstone, but she still stays in the corner of the forefoot. That's a pretty good roll, though. Hard for Penny Barker to roll back to the middle. She'd lose her back one.
It is. It's hard to believe they could get by the guard and hit quite that much of it. Actually, I didn't think it hit that much. So
that's where the quiet weight helped her.
Yeah, it's an interesting sweeping stroke and style that the lead.
I noticed that yesterday.
Kind of that hoppy. You see it a little bit from a couple of the Asian teams every now and then, but I haven't seen anybody over here do that. So.
He was trying to get a little bit of a roll towards the guard. It would have been tough to get under because the jam was always there. Now it's a little less risk for the Peterson team to try it. They can play the double in the roll behind.
Yeah, be in pretty good position here if they can make this.
Yeah. Yeah, you may see Penny Barker have to walk up and do something with the rocks in front. Something I noticed yesterday here, and haven't played in Swift Current for a couple of years myself, but as soon as they pick up the weight coming from the outside in, it looks like everything was running very straight yesterday. There was plenty of movement on hits to the corner.
Yeah.
Something that teams have to watch here.
Yeah, I think you're right. We commented a little bit. I've done a couple games here now, so it's a little bit, generally speaking, it's a little bit straighter than what we've seen this year. Not quite as hard to finish, but yeah, it does do that, and you can actually back it up a little bit if you're not careful there. And had that happen a couple of times where guys jumped it and just kind of almost straightened it out, or maybe even backed it up.
Do you think, Jim, it's the sweeper or the thrower, or it could be a combination? Because I wonder, when you see that tight broom, there's always that little thing that creeps into your head. Oh, I can't afford to be narrow here, and you maybe give it a little bit of a set. I wondered if that wasn't happening a little bit yesterday as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was definitely going on a little bit. And then again, because, not all these teams play a lot, but the ones that have played a lot, at least played in the arenas that we've covered, are used to just a little bit, just that little bit harder finish. So you pop them out a little bit to hold them there, and it doesn't work here.
Boy, that's close. If that yellow is second shot, that is a fantastic roll. If it's third, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you rolled to a spot where it's almost impossible for them to make the double. I don't know if she could see enough of the outside. It's risky to go after it, so she's just going to hit the back one. They looked at it. Nobody pointed. I hate it when they don't point.
Yeah, I know. I'm leaning towards red on the red-yellow, but
Yeah, I would be too. But of course, the dark handle versus the light handle is a bit of an optical illusion always, and it's close. I could see them having to measure that. We'll see if it comes to that. A few rocks left to come. Skip stones. Looking for some curl here. Has to hit this on the nose. Well, that's another one of those. If you knew you could roll to just that spot, that's a pretty good roll, because now Penny Barker's got a tough time coming by her own.
yeah, no, you're right.
And still, nobody's willing to point.
Well, if she throws this freeze about a foot heavy, we won't have to worry about it. Well, I guess it will.
Well,
still would be another one, yeah.
Here's the thing. If she thought red was sitting 2, she could just come around the middle.
Yeah.
So if you're coming to the corner, I have to think. See, now she's changed the shot. If you think red's sitting 2, there's no point playing the freeze.
Yeah.
Come around the middle and try to get your 2. And that's what she's playing. So I have to think they think red is sitting 2 right now.
Yeah. Look like is it Szynski? Is that how she says that? Looked
Yes.
like she was asking that question. She put the 2 fingers up, but we didn't get quite the
Yeah, we didn't get an answer.
indication.
It
Probably answered, but
it makes sense. It makes sense because if you could make the freeze and you're sitting first and third, and you know that Corey Tisi is likely going to make a play on the frozen stone, well, you've got a chance to bring that yellow back into play for 2. But if it's already third shot, you're never bringing it back in.
no, exactly.
A lot of room early, so Danielle switched to the other side, trying to get a little extra curl on this stone. It's really moving well now. Lots of room by the guard, but you can see it's just walking sideways. Now, did they bring it a little deep in trying to make it curl? Yeah, just behind the button. I feel like I see that way too often when a team gets all over exuberant to make sure that a rock curls. They forget that they're also taking it deeper.
Yeah. And there's a time and a place for that. But, if you can get that 3/4 buried and leave it above the tee line somewhere, top button or something, it's probably better than fully buried at the back of the button.
Yeah. Yeah, you're one good freeze here away from a stolen point. So Corey Tisi without last rock here in the first end, looking to freeze on the stone that's just behind the pinhole. This has got tighter line early. Looks like it might be a little strong, though. She's going to bump.
Yeah, can't afford to bounce off that.
Well, and she did.
Yeah.
So it's a shot for 2. Just needs to get to the nose. Really doesn't need to throw it hard. She could throw, basically the same weight, get to the nose, tap it back a few inches, get her 2 points. Looks like that's the call.
Yeah, it really is nice to be able to just throw basically, like you say, the exact same shot.
Yeah. Interesting that, those two rocks really had very, very close to the exact same weight. Corey Teese's did not run the same as Penny Barker's. Penny Barker's was curling much harder as it came into the house. That is maybe if this one runs the same, they'll have to be a little bit careful. You do have to get a piece of that redstone.
Yeah.
Final stone, first end. A event qualifier, Penny Barker looking for the big deuce to get things started here. Has to get up to the nose to get the red by her own. And we'll tap it back just enough, put 2 points on the board. It's 2-0. Excuse me, 2-0 for Barker. Peterson will have last rock right after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Second end underway. First stone brought into the top of the 8-foot. Now Taylor Anderson Hyde being asked to throw the corner guard. Danielle will come to the middle once again. Kind of a reverse of what we saw in the first end, but coming in with the first, they throw the corner. You throw the center guard after that. This is going to be a really long center guard. Oh, no, maybe the weight's better than I thought.
Yeah, I would like to get a little
Yeah,
bit of that, but
you might like to cover shot. On the other hand, in the no tick zone, it's important to cover or get a piece over top of the center line. Given that the first rock was off center, that's maybe the best she could do with the center guard. You've got edge to edge on the rock in the house, and you've still got a rock in the no tick zone. And we see the same thing here with the Peterson team as we saw with Penny Barker last, and going to ignore the two stones in the middle and try to use her corner guard right away.
definitely two of the more aggressive teams that I've seen in the ladies' side for sure.
Well, if you can play this style and make your shots, that's how you get into an A qualifier, I guess.
Yeah. That and have the short part of the draw where you only played one game so far. That helps too.
It can help. Barker didn't have that. This is her third. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that leaves a double on the yellows, although the shooter probably should stay out in the open. Doesn't really have to play the double. She could just make a play on shot stone and roll behind cover. That's what she's looking at now. You could probably also make the hit on shot stone and roll over right into the side of the other yellow, stay almost corner frozen. That's not a bad result either.
No.
She's talking about playing the double off the wide one. I think if you're playing the double, because you're not getting behind cover anyway, I think if you're going to play the double, you play it off the shot stone and then roll over towards the other one and separate the other two. I heard her talking about leaving a double back.
Yeah, but I think you play it from the inside one too. Just, if you ever happen to hit the outside one a little bit thick, you could bump the yellow to the place you couldn't hit it.
Yeah, I don't hate the hit and roll behind either.
No, I don't mind that either.
That other yellow is third shot. It doesn't matter a ton.
Multiple option shot anyway.
Made the hit, but comes across, nudges the other stone, stays there. Lindsay Birch looking for the hit now and would like to roll undercover. I think if she rolls buried, she should be in enough to be shot rock, but this is not going to get across the face. Right on the nose. Red stone on the 8-foot other side continues to be shot rock. Second and third belong to Barker. Corey Tisi looking at just playing the straight come around. And certainly see that would make a lot of sense. It's been tough for anybody to get across the face on hits and rolls in the games that I've seen, but lots of movement still in the draws.
So I'm not quite sure what she's gonna. I think she's playing the hit and roll on the top one, but it's an odd. Yeah. Oh, she changes again.
Did opt for the draw. This has got a mile of room by the guard. Sweeping for curl now. It's curling plenty, but this has got to get well under cover. She doesn't want to leave a double here. Boy, it just barely got in enough to be second shot. Now the double would be thin, But that rock's just about entirely exposed.
Yeah. She might be lucky to stop there. If it had gone another, unless it really curled hard, if it had gone another foot or so, it might have been a
leave a more natural double. Yeah. Does she not have to try it anyway? I guess you could just look to hit and stay right there. It kind of plugs up the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any reason not to try it, but I also don't mind hitting it and staying more or less right there. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good spot. It'd leave her the out turn draw, but then the rock you're about to throw would be in a great spot for a short run. I think the only thing you don't want to do is roll a foot to the outside. Boy, they got to get by the guard, though. This is really curling. That's on the front one. Did they move the other guard at least? Well, they moved it, but pretty much straight up, so that shot stone's still mostly undercover.
Yeah, not a good throw there. I don't know if she was light tight or just the wrong ice, but it just whatever combination wasn't very successful. Didn't come close really.
Yeah, certainly moved a lot for a hit of any kind, and it didn't look like she was too quiet.
No.
Biggest problem that TC has now is how do you get the third one in? Like she'd like to come in, or you see her tapping the ice around the yellow, but it's tough to get there with a draw because those rocks are already biting the 8-foot. She did look at a hit and roll in off the wide one. That's it's a way to get there, but those hits and rolls have not been easy on this ice so far. And you made a good point just a few minutes ago, Jim. This is only the second game for this team. They haven't they struggled to find the hit and roll in ice on the first game, so they're not that much further ahead playing on only their second game here.
Yeah, it takes some adjustment for sure. I don't know if she's trying to bump like sort of split the red one at the top, or if she's trying to just go through the port. It's not going to make the port, I don't think.
How bad was the damage?
Not too bad, I don't think.
Yeah, moved it up a little bit, but you're right. I think it's still the yellow is still third shot, and the red's at an interesting spot because if Penny was to just hit the one in the 8-foot, biting the 8-foot at the top, TC could play half a rock on the red stone they just delivered, and both her shooter and the red they just threw are going to roll in off that yellow.
Yeah.
Penny's looking at the backside double.
Yeah.
So coming off the stone at the top of the 8-foot, and really she's going to kick the side or even maybe the back of the stone that was just delivered and push it out the front of the house.
And she still may even pick up the other red one in the 8-foot.
Yeah, that's pretty thin. I don't think you're catching the second one if you do that. I was more thinking if she hits this just right, her shooter might continue on enough to be shot rock. And I think she's too thick on the first one for that.
It's not a terrible result, though.
No.
A lot of yellow
where that yellow stayed. TC can't really play that red yellow combination because their shooter is going to push the yellow that was just thrown towards shot rock.
It could do that no matter which one you hit, too, whether you hit the yellow or the red.
Yeah, exactly. That's why rocks that kind of sit in the house and then in front of the 4-foot somewhere, doesn't matter if they're shot, they're always a dangerous rock for the opposition. There's so much that can be done with them. You kind of hate to leave it there. On the same time, she can't do with it what she'd like to do with it. Shot rock is half exposed, So if she doesn't get another one in for second here, she knows Penny Barker's going to go after the shot stone.
Yeah, you're definitely right, though. You hate to leave that one there because
You do, yeah.
it's so good. I mean, she can tap it. She's got so much cover to go underneath, too. So
it's hard to do much with it. Like, to make the shot that they're looking at, I think you're trying to hit the red one as thin as you can so you can kind of come into the side of the yellow and kick it over the top of the red. Now, you may not get second shot at all that way, but you'll have shot third and fourth.
yeah.
Well, she looks like she's trying to get close to the nose on the red. The problem then is you could roll the red all the way across and leave a double. Kind of like this. They should be sweeping that back.
Yeah.
Now they got a spin out of it at the end, and that's fortunate because there's a double there, but it's another one of those awkward angle doubles. And Parker has to be a little careful as well because that stone at the front now, if she makes the double on the 2 and the 8-foot, 4-foot, she might leave a double back to sit 2. It's been an interesting game to look at all the angles that are available.
Yeah, it has. It's only the second in, too, so it's kind of a treat.
Have to think with that ice, she's going after the double hard. She can only see about half of that rock. If she was just going to play the little hit and roll, she'd have to play it with quieter weight, and she'd need more
Yeah,
ice.
I think so, too.
Does make the double and spins over a little bit. Left the double back. TC has to decide if she wants to play it, because if she makes the double, she's going to leave another double, and then we might be headed for a blank end.
Yeah, good throw here. It's I thought she might be a little wide at first because she slides a little inside the target and then she throws it off her shoulder a bit. But anyway, good result. Almost made the roll right up in behind. I think you're going to be this. Oh, she's going after the one in back. I thought she might play the double.
I'm not surprised that she's going after this one. You make the double. Look where your shooter's going to be. You leave a double back, and then you're headed for a blank end. Now, what I didn't see while we were watching the replay is which way she's trying to roll here. You could roll under the yellow. Granted, then Penny probably plays the short run back, but her shooter would not be second shot anymore. Or you could roll behind the corner.
My guess is that she's trying to roll under.
Well, this is going hard. She's going to have a hard time getting by the yellow at the top. You might want to let this go and try to hit enough of it to stay.
Yeah, I think just not matching up the ice and weight here yet.
Gives Penny a chance to get the force here when most of this end it was looking like it could be a chance for 2.
I have a very good chance to force her. You just need to stay in the rings, basically.
It's a huge momentum swing.
Yeah.
Final stone for Penny Barker without last rock, just looking to hit and stay. That would be enough to get the force. If she could roll in front of her own, it would make for a very difficult shot for TC. Rolls to the center line. It does mean that if Corey Teese is going to go after the shot stone, she's going to have to do it with the in-turn, but there is room.
Yeah, pretty much the same shot she just threw, and she saw what the last one did. As long as this one does the same thing, she shouldn't have too much trouble with this. Think about this American team. They have a wealth of experience. They've got an awful lot of championships and world appearances and everything else underneath them. So
looking for some curl here. She'll hit it just a little off the nose, stays pretty much right there, bites the forefoot, picks up her single point. Penny Barker with a 2-1 lead here in this A qualifier after 2 ends of play, and she will have last rock once again in the third.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Don't forget the brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on. Okay, well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Penny Barker leading 2-1 here as we begin playing the third. The Peterson team throwing up the center guard. It is a long center guard. You can't see it in the overhead shot, but there you can see it in the hack shot, and it is in the no-tick zone. Danielle Sosinski looking for the come-around. It actually peeks out a little bit past the guard. So Corey TC asking Taylor Anderson-Hyde to come right around everything. Might be an extra unspoken benefit for these teams playing here today to try to qualify through the A event. We are expecting a significant snowstorm yet today in Saskatchewan. Now, I think I'm in Saskatoon. I think we're on the edge of it, but from what I've seen of the reports, southern Saskatchewan has storm warnings out. So if you could make this A event qualifier, get through here, you go back to the hotel room and you could stay nice and warm tonight while everybody else has to struggle through the B and C.
Yeah, that would be a good plan. We haven't seen any snow yet, but I'm sure it's not far away.
Oh, we've seen plenty. And somehow or another, it always seems to happen on a Saturday evening this year. Plenty of room by that long guard, now starting to curl. Makes the tap on the red stone, gets it all the way through the rings. The shooter rolls just fully open.
Yeah, very nice shot. Just perfect weight for that shot. And it's about the best outcome you were going to have on that one. So well done.
That's another nice shot. Not quite enough to get it all the way through the rings, but look how well buried that stone is sitting on the back half of the button. It's dead under cover.
Yeah, that was excellent.
A little dangerous leaving the stone in the back 12-foot when you don't have last rock, but when you make the perfect roll, Penny Barker's got some work to do. Just rubs the yellow stone at the top. She will settle in the back of the 8-foot. Looks like the right weight for the shot. They just didn't get the curl they were looking for. I'm curious for your opinion now, Joe. You see a lot of teams playing from time to time three-handed nowadays. There's been a lot of debate over whether or not there needs to be rules put in place about that. But where I was going with this is some people will tell you they think it's a bit of an advantage to play with three. Now, what I wonder, though, is in that particular situation, Danielle Sasinski typically plays lead and has for a number of years now. Now, I'm not saying she hasn't played second, third, and even skip, I think, in past years, but it's a long time. She's been playing lead and almost exclusively lead for a number of years now. So she doesn't play a lot of shots like that. Whereas for the Peterson team here, it's their normal lead, second, and third that are actually playing here. I don't know. Does it, if you're missing a player and the lead has to play some shots that kind of are outside of their normal shot range, is that still an advantage, throwing three?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I could ever consider it an advantage. I think, the positions, the front end positions are so similar now compared to what they used to be that I think that it's not necessarily a big advantage depending on who's missing, but I think I think it can be an advantage in a short event, like an event like this or something. But some of the teams that are going with three players for, week after week after week, it just doesn't seem like, well, number one, it doesn't really seem like the spirit of the rule, the spirit of the team, but it can't be an advantage over the long term. It just can't. Just got to wear people out.
Well, the teams and the individuals, and it makes some sense, right? It's the people that will argue that it's an advantage. It's because you got two people that get to throw three rocks an end, and so it's just more reps for them. They're not our age, let's be honest. They're a little younger. Their knees don't hurt as bad, but the extra reps should help their accuracy. And you do only have one sweeper, but so much of the game now is played with only one sweeper. There's an argument to be made for it. It's interesting to listen to the debate anyway. What I wonder about, and your point is valid, that the lead and second place similar shots nowadays, is that traditionally every player kind of had their own shots that they were going to play. Like the lead was going to play the guards and the come arounds. The second might be responsible for cleaning things up. The third might be playing a lot of finesse, depending on the team, right? But when you ask somebody to step out of their normal position into somebody else's, it might change the shots a little bit. Maybe that's not happening anymore.
Yeah. I think the biggest difference would be for second stones that have to play third now. I think that would be the biggest challenge.
Well, and in this situation, Corey Tisi has had to move into the house.
Yeah, I think for her, not quite as unfamiliar for her because I think she used to skip her own team. What's her last name was before she got married? Christensen, maybe?
I have enough trouble keeping track of just the ones in Saskatchewan when I have to try to pronounce or give the right name for them at provincials. I'm not even trying to keep track of everybody else in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
TC continues to sit shot rock, mostly buried on the button. Going to make the hit on second, and the question is, how do they roll and not leave a double? I think what they're looking for here is to roll over into their own and try to tap it over a little bit. Tara Peterson, we mentioned earlier, Tabitha missing, she had a baby a couple of weeks ago. I understand Tara had one in September herself.
Oh.
So they're going to need a bigger Christmas table at the Peterson household for Christmas dinner this year. A couple of high chairs.
And the grandparents are going to be twice as busy as they might have been.
Well, that just, in my experience, and it's been a long time, but my experience was that Tara and Tabitha won't have to worry about anybody talking to them. They don't even notice when you come in anymore when there's a baby there. It's like they won't even say hello. It's just give me the baby and then go over there and mind your own business.
Yeah.
The only hesitation here is whether or not the double clears the yellow at the back. I think it does. Even if it doesn't, you make the hit and roll. You should be sitting 2, but you could make the double and sit 3 and everything well spread out here.
Yeah, you could, absolutely.
Wants to hit this thick enough to hold the shooter. Makes the double. It does clear the back. And the shooter will stick around for a bite at the edge of the 12-foot. So it is Barker sitting 3 right now with last rock in the third end.
That's pretty amazing, actually, to hit that much of that stone where she was trying to hit quite a bit more. I think to hit it the way she did and have everything stay except for the reds. I would never have thought that you'd do that with that particular spot, but yeah, it worked out well.
So TC going to make a play on shot stone. Hard to think she could get undercover on this, but maybe. She can only see about 3/4.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get undercover on this either. If you felt decent about draw weight, I think you'd play the draw around that and try to get your 2 that way.
Well, she's not worried about getting 2. She doesn't have last rock. She's got to worry about not giving up 3 or 4.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, you're right.
I think when she went to the hack, she was thinking about rolling under, and it doesn't look good from the hacks. So they've got to look at something else now.
Oh, real tough call now.
I agree with you, though, Jim. She could just play the draw. The problem is if you play the draw when there's already 3 in there, you bring 4 into play.
Yeah.
You hit the back one, even if you're all dead, perfect buried. Penny Barker's coming around sitting 2, and there's still a potential 3 at least.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 puts you down 5-1. That's a long way back from there, but I think it's easy to say here, but I think I'd be tempted to draw on this shot anyways. This to me looks like you're almost, not totally, but you're almost giving up a 3 no matter what you do here. Unless you can make an absolutely perfect roll, and then I don't even know if they can't get to it then. So
I wonder if it's not a factor, though, that guard is so high. Like anything you draw around it, Penny can probably come down with enough weight to push you through.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Makes the hit, but stays right there. It is second shot. Penny's looking at hitting it. She could still come around.
Yeah. Problem is here, it's even if Penny Barker, if she hits this and rolls out, then what do you do if you're Corey Thesey? It's
she hits the open one and gives her 2.
Gives her 2, yeah. She almost has to hope that she stays and lets her play the same shot and maybe make a little bit of roll or make a roll, period.
Yeah, where this gets interesting, if she ever curled across the nose and rolled to the back of the 8-foot.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't seen any kind of hits move like that so far, so that shouldn't be a problem. Danielle switching sides. They're looking for curl here. She does have to try to stick around on this. Boy, that moved big from the top of the house in, and she does stay right there. Now, if TC makes the roll behind cover now, she would have a piece of the 8-foot. Looking at where she'd make, it's possible she could roll over, be buried for shot rock, I think.
Oh, dear.
Well, it depends on the weight she's going to throw. She'd have to throw, fairly firm weight, get a flat roll. But if you look at how high up she's going to be where she makes contact, if you draw a line straight across, she's almost biting the back of the 4-foot where she makes contact.
Yeah.
And with this out turn, she will get a little bit flatter roll. Problem is, it's hard to roll 3 feet coming across the face.
She's close, but not quite.
Yeah, she threw the weight she needed for the flatter roll, but that was a lot of ice. And that's one of the issues when you've got ice that's this straight on a hit. These teams aren't used to looking at that, and they just don't want to believe it. You could take broom, if you were looking for that roll, you could probably take broom quarter of a rock inside the rock.
Yeah.
Or at least inside the edge. And she did. She still had this much air. Now Penny's looking at this much air. She's not trying to roll. Nose hit is fine for her. This is nose hit for 3. She has not messed around with the hammer so far in this game. 2 in the first and a chance here to pick up 3 in the third. Right out of her hand, they've called for the switch. Danielle around to the other side. Going to make the hit. I don't know if this one's going to stick around, though. No, it'll roll out of play. Once again, getting caught on that straight turn, but she does pick up a deuce here, and we'll take a 4-1 lead after 3 ends of play. It'll be the Peterson team with last rock in the 4th.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Sasktel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? Sasktel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
19 teams began play here yesterday afternoon in Swift Current in the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series, looking for 8 spots through to the playoffs, which start later on Sunday. We've got A event qualifier action for you here. The 3A qualifiers will be determined here this afternoon. Shawn, Joyce, Jim Nix with you in this feature matchup. All of the games available to stream on the Curling Stadium. Penny Barker out to a 4-1 lead as we begin play here in the fourth end. Team Peterson with last rock. Everybody looking to avoid having to shovel out, because I was just looking ahead to see the next game for any of the 3 teams that loses the A qualifier. They drop into a B qualifier, but it's tomorrow morning. 2 of them are at 9 o'clock, 1 of them at 12:30. And if they do get hit by that storm tonight, you might need to shovel just to get out from the hotel. This has been the recipe for this game. First one into the top of the 4, the corner guard. Now they guard the stone in the 4-foot. And the team with last rock coming around the corner guard.
Yeah, and compliments to the leads here, because they've they've done a really good job on these shots. There hasn't been really many misses on these first 4 shots. This one's not going to quite get where they want to be, but
not so bad when you're that deep coming around your corner, though.
No.
Pulling up the weather forecast while we're watching here, the weather forecast from Swift Current, they might not be taking the brunt of the storm either, so it might not be too bad there tomorrow.
Geography is not very good for Saskatchewan, so I don't really know where everything is.
It's more southwest in the province. That draw a little deep. It's back of the 8-foot, and that was the 5th stone of the end, so they can afford to make a play by the center guard now if they happen to crash the center. There's no rule violation. Good thing, because I don't think this is getting by the guard. Oh, it does. Nope. She called off trying to get a thick enough piece to hold the shooter, but it's going to still roll through. Oh, just by the redstone.
Yeah, rolled through and also didn't move the center guard hardly at all. So
no, not very far.
Yeah.
Just bites the 12-foot and does cover most of that stone. I think TC's going to have to make some kind of play on the guards.
Yeah, not the shot you want to be playing when you're down 4-1 already, playing 4, but she doesn't really have much choice. It's just gotten to be a bit of a mess here.
This is going to be close to the red at the back. Yeah, not what they were looking for. Would have liked to make 2 yellows move. They did peel the center guard, but also lost their biter at the back. And now Penny Barker looking really good for at least a force here.
Yeah, Peterson team really needed to pick up, like you said, a couple on that one. Get a couple of the yellows. And
well, and if you were going to just straight peel, you couldn't afford to lose that biter at the back. Like the biter is the rock that maybe could have ended up on the board as your second point. Well, I'm not seeing a possibility of that now. There's already 3 in the rings and about to be a guard here. You've only got 4 left to clean things up. You need to find a way to move that stone off the top of the 4 foot. The rock at the back of the 8 doesn't worry you too much.
No.
If you're going to get a chance to go on offense at some point this end, you really need to make, you need to make 3 of them move here. 2 of them will give you a good chance to play defense, but you need to get that rock off the top of the 4 foot here if you could. Going to hit it pretty much the same. Would have lost that red one again. This time leaves her shooter as a corner guard that probably taking away one of her draw paths if she needed to draw for one. And there's a wide corner on the other side. She might have a hard time drawing to what she could see of the button right now. I don't know if you could make it by the corner guard and still get by the rock in the rings.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks difficult.
It's big trouble right now. Now this is well light and looked inside.
I'll tell you what, they took that a lot farther than I thought they were going to get her, Shawn.
I think they took it a lot farther than they thought they were. Now, it's not a club game. It's a bonds bill. I don't know how seriously they take this thing, but the way Lindsay jumped up, if that was a club game, you'd think she was scared she was buying a round there is what it looked like to me.
Yeah, might be true.
Come and help. I don't want to have to buy. It did get pretty good lineup on the stone in the 12 foot. It's Taylor Anderson Hyde looking at the running on the red, and it's not a horrible idea because she doesn't have a draw path right now either. I don't think.
No.
You play the angle running on the red, even if you don't get something, you get that rock out of the way. You should have a path to play a draw, albeit not an easy draw.
No, but you're running out of rocks for a straight peel on those rocks. The ones that she's talking about peeling, if she peels the center one and
if you miss it by the same amount again, you definitely take away the peel on the other or the draw path on the other side. It might not be there now. Like you look at the red guard on the right hand side as we look at this sheet, and watch the way these rocks have been curling coming in. If you got by that red guard with draw weight, do you still get by the yellow at the top of the 4 foot? And I'm not sure you do.
No, it'd be really close.
Yeah. I don't mind Taylor's idea. You run the one in from the corner.
Yeah.
Either corner, you could run this one into. You make sure you get a draw path. The nice thing about running the wider one in is you can actually get it to shot stone. The one on the other side, you'd be running it onto the one at the 12 foot and trying for the double, but you'd almost have to be unlucky not to hit something yellow running this red. Like it's quite the wide target between the 3 stones. It actually looks like, roughly speaking, about 2/3 to dead jam it onto shot stone.
Yeah, this you could change this end around in a hurry though if you could ever make this one.
Yeah. even to pick the one off the top 12 improves your situation quite a bit.
Yeah. It's like you said, I just get anything at all almost, and it's going to
Yeah.
be better at least.
Oh, you can't hit it too thick.
Oh, look at this.
Got the shot rock.
Yeah. I got number 2, but that was almost very, very good.
You know, it's not bad. You're running a rock in at an angle at about 12 feet. You make contact, you should be happy, and she should have a shot to score now anyway.
Yeah.
It's actually still a potential to score too, because Penny Barker might not want to ignore that red stone. Well, if she plays the hit on the red stone, Corey Teesey's coming around. Penny Barker knows that. She might ignore the red stone.
Yeah, I think she's going to ignore the red stone.
She's just got to be careful not to leave a double here herself.
So Penny's been to a couple of Scotties. Are any of these girls that are with her now, were they with her in, what was it, 2022 when she played?
Danielle played in both of them with her. Danielle's been her lead for a long time. And Penny's one of the, she's had a couple of lineup changes, but she's always been one of the, I look at her when she plays in Saskatchewan, and I think she's one of the best last rock throwers that we have here on the women's side.
Yeah.
That's been her strength. You can't leave her anything. She does seem to favor the hits. And I'm not always sure why, because I think she's an excellent drawer as well.
Yeah.
Ton of room by the guard. They need to bury at least a piece of this. Can't afford to leave the double. Moves big coming into the house. She gets a bite of the 4-foot. If you knew you could whip it down there and just get by the guards, you could probably make the double. But you don't want to flirt with the guards that hard, I don't think.
No, that's the
if
problem.
she goes after the hit, hits it a little thin and jams it on the one in the back, it's going to be buried and it's going to be shot rock. She likely has to make a play on it. The question is going to be, how much weight do you want to throw?
Yeah.
Is it more important to get the double or to get as close to the nose on that rock as you can so you don't dead jam it?
My vote would be to get as close to the nose as you can.
Yeah.
The double to me is...
And if it over finishes and you hit it bang on the nose and miss the stone at the back, that's probably not a bad result, right?
No, exactly.
Who do you think's shot if she does that? It's close. It would be close, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be really close. I don't know if she hits it right on the nose, if she'd be shot. It looks like she'd probably be, just as best guess is, looks like she'd probably be a little bit outside of the yellow, but
there's still probably a port to get to that yellow and pick it out at the back if she had to with her last one too. So
yeah.
It's just really hard when you throw this quiet weight to make a double like this. She could probably get both stones moving, but they've got to get all the way out of the 8-foot to sit two.
Yeah.
Should be by the guard.
Maybe
by the stone at the house. This is pretty close to a jam and roll out. It's over the top even.
Ooh. Yeah, they didn't need to keep that one straight at all the way down.
No.
They think they do, but they just don't. You got to be willing to wait on that.
Well, the same draw is there for Penny, but she's got to be a little scared after the one she just threw. I mean, she did leave a double. It just didn't get made. Yeah.
Well, if you believe the hole is there,
a little bit farther behind cover, I don't think there's there.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I believe the hole's there to hit it. I don't think you could stay.
Yeah.
You look at the reverse stagger. If you're going to make that port, you're going to have to throw some weight, I think.
Yeah.
And then I don't think you're staying.
So even if Penny Barker's short on this, it takes away the intern draw side and probably makes it pretty tough to score. But I don't think I can't see the top, but I don't think there's anything left up there for her to run in. Perthisi.
It's got a little bit tighter line early, but this looks like it might also have a little more weight.
Yeah.
It's got a lot more weight.
Pretty heavy, yeah.
Well, if you think you can get there through that port, I just, you're looking at the same picture I'm looking at, Jim, right? With that with that reverse stagger and the weight you'd have to throw to get through there, you actually probably don't have to throw it as hard as you would on a lot of ice because the outside in takeouts haven't been curling that much, but I still don't see how you get the finish after the Yellowstone and the 12-foot to hold your shooter.
Yeah, that's what I think. If you can't hold the shooter, then you might as well just draw. It's
if the red guard wasn't there, there's probably a way to do it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look good with that red guard there. Can't blame them for taking a look at it. You're down 3 here.
No.
You'd love to get 2. It doesn't look like it's there.
Yeah. Oh no, I definitely think you'd be remiss not to look at that and talk about it for sure. Because if there is a possibility, a decent possibility, then I think it's worth a try.
So they elect to play the draw. Needs to bite the 4-foot, pick up her single here, close to within 4-2 going into the 5th.
It's not a good sign.
Well, it's got a lot of room yet, too. A lot of room, looks like a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's quite a bit heavy.
All the way through to the back one. It's going to be a steal of 1 for Penny Barker. She jumps out to a 5-1 lead now after 4 ends of play, looking for one of those 8 playoff berths. 4 ends left to go in this A qualifying matchup. We'll have 5th end action for you right after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Fifth end action underway. I didn't see the call. They do put the screen up during the commercials, but I can't believe with a 4-point lead, Penny Barker really wanted to center guard. That's what she's got, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that would have been the call either. I missed it as well, but
it may all come out the same. You'll see Peterson team throw up the corner, and if they make the come around here, you end up in the same position as if you'd have played them the other way around.
Yeah.
You want a real good come around, though. If this isn't top 4, you probably wouldn't have guarded it with a 4-point lead.
No.
And this is going to be deep. Like that's not a rock that if you throw that there with the first one, you're not throwing a guard on the second one. This is a better setup for Peterson this end, for the Peterson team. They're still going to elect to go around the corner. We've seen that from both teams in this game. With that last rock, they want to get one in or behind the corner. It's hard to fault them. Neither team has lost a game yet this weekend.
That's right.
It's going to change for one of them within the next hour. I like the aggressive play, and it'll be interesting to see because I've talked about it with a few people on air. I don't know whether, Jim, you and I have had a chance to chat about it yet, but they're testing at one of the Grand Slams coming up in January. If you have blanked an end, you can't blank the second one. So I think you're going to see teams with last rock have to play a little bit more aggressively. It is the offensive advantage, so make that team with last rock try to play offense. I like the decision. I think it's a little bit overdue. And, if it works out, you're going to see this kind of strategy more often, I think. You're going to see that team with last rock, because you can't blank ends anymore, try to play to score. And so the teams that are already quite good at it and quite comfortable at it, they might have a little bit of a jump early if that rule changes. It'll be interesting to see how the test event goes.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Is it? I heard about it and I didn't hear about it. So is it 2 in a row or just 2 period in the game that you wouldn't be allowed to blank?
You can't blank 2 in a row. So if you blanked an end, the next end, if you blank it, you lose the hammer.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to see ends starting more like this, where you've got to set something up on the corner and try to play offense. And really, you see it at the end of the game now when teams are in a spot where they have to play offense. It's really tough if you're the team without last rock to defend against 2 corner guards. So what you see is in a lot of cases, they'll go for the hard steal. They'll plug up the middle and then they'll try to force the other team to deal with those rocks. So it could get really interesting. It'll be really interesting to see how teams approach it.
Yeah. And it has a little bit of a compromise on the idea that if you just go straight till you're not allowed to blank or you lose hammer, that team strategy, and it gets to be a bit of a silliness.
I just think we're at the point where the teams are so good, the equipment is so good, and not just the rocks, the ice. Like once upon a time in my generation, it was hard to make a lot of rocks go at once. A lot of times you'd see frost on the edges, and doubles and triples wouldn't go as easy. The striking bands certainly weren't as lively. The rocks in a lot of cases were older, so that the striking surfaces were a little more dead. Now you're seeing guys and women making triples with normal weight or even down normal that we couldn't have done once upon a time. And it's at the point where you need to make the team like I've never heard the team without last rock say we need to play this shot to keep the blank alive. It's always the team with last rock. Well, if last rock is the offensive advantage, then make that team play offense.
Yeah.
Why are we encouraging them to play defense? Make them play the offense, and we'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
It always made for entertainment in the skins games, and it's worked well in doubles. So I don't see any reason why it shouldn't work in 4-player curling. Interesting setup to this end is it looks to be. Well, I was going to say it looks to be Barker sitting shot at the back of the button. It's close. I think it's Barker. Jim, you want to get a cup of coffee on that one? Okay.
Yeah, we can do that. But we're taking the same one. So
yeah, but all the yellows are behind the tee line. The red's probably, as much as it's second shot, it's probably in better position right now.
Yeah, it's in a good spot.
and they're looking to just move it up a couple inches. This is a long ways out there, though.
Yeah, they probably need to get this by it. Just sit on the back one, maybe, if they can.
I don't know if it's stopping.
No. Yeah, that's one they couldn't really afford.
I did hang on for a bite. I mean, if you were in desperation time in the eighth end and you needed to draw around everything, that's a tough shot to make. But she did. I mean, look at where it is. It's almost totally gone. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm loving that if I'm Penny Barker.
She looking at just playing appeal?
She was, but I mean, it's a short run double that's there now. And then again, because that's a biter at the back, there's more reds hanging around than I'd like. I don't mind the freeze. If I was peeling something, maybe the corner guard, but I don't mind coming in with another draw. I'd like to get something in front of the tee line if it was me.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all either.
I guess the question is, can you get there from the in-turn side? Because if you can corner freeze the red from the in-turn side, you've got an escape route for the red. To do it on the out-turn side, it's still probably jamming yellows.
Yeah.
That port looks plenty big enough. It's a reverse stagger, but it's only a couple of feet from the red to the yellow guard for depth. There should be room to get through there.
Yeah, I mean, 4-point lead. Even if you end up coming around on the out turn, sitting dead on that red one, yours is going to be in a pretty good spot, I think. So that wouldn't be terrible, but I think you're going to play.
Oh, yeah, this is okay. Three-handed, I got to keep track of the rocks. So this would be normally the first or third stones. If you peel the guard, I'm just thinking this through. So think along with me, Jim. What does TC play on the next one? A tap up on the red, maybe?
I think so. Yeah, it's not the greatest setup for TC. It's there's not anything to really hide behind everything, but
all the yellows are behind the tee line. That's the thing.
Yeah.
She's trying to run it straight back, maybe? Pick that red out of there. That's not a bad result if you make it.
No.
Yeah, I don't like rolling to that corner. That's actually a rock she could come around because she can't play the double going that way.
You don't want to bump this very hard.
Well, you either don't want to. You either do or you don't. And what I'm thinking is, if you tap this with about back line weight, tap red onto the yellow behind it, and then split those two so that you get the yellows all spread out at the back, then you might be able to roll your shooter a little bit too. Or you're just tapping at the frozen. Anything in between is probably bad.
Yeah.
Because you leave a double on the reds. And I think what they indicate is they're just trying to tap to frozen. This might over curl, though, and that would leave a double. You might want to stop.
Yeah, I would say.
Still over curled. It's a nose hit double. There's a little risk. You can't hit it on, you can't cross the face playing the out turn.
No, it could be really bad if you go across the face. Kind of a flick release there. Shouldn't go across the face anyways, that's for sure.
Actually takes that biter out of the back, though, jammed yellow onto the red. Probably helps her out a little bit with the positioning on those yellows at the back. They're all kind of in a line now. It's hard to use them as a pocket. Looks like they're playing the same tap to frozen if they can.
Yeah.
This is a tough shot. I'd be tempted to come around the corner here.
I'd be going around the corner too.
Yeah.
No doubt, because I think that made it possible now because that's a fairly easy run double or whatever you want to call that when it's that short.
Yeah. Well, you come around the corner. You're probably thinking the same as me. So let's talk it through. You come around the corner. She's got to hit the red one, but she's got to hit it on the other side. She rolls over. She's going to leave you at least a double, if not a triple. And that rock that you buried.